Ken Penders is no stranger when it comes to controversy or fan backlash. And recently he got into the discussion with some fans online about what he plans to do about Julie Sue's backstory and origin. And what Ken plans to do basically is incorporate some elements of the origin and backstory of Shade the Echidna from the Sonic Chronicles Dark Brotherhood Nintendo DS video game. And a lot of fans called him out about this because they feel he doesn't own the rights to Shade, so he doesn't have the rights to utilize her backstory or origin and incorporate it into Julie Sue's in the Lara-Su Chronicles, which is his Sonic-inspired spin-off that he's currently working on and looking like he's gotten more progress done on it than he has in the past several years. However, Ken Penders came out and said that technically he kind of owns Shade, which in my interpretation kind of equals to the fact that he owns perhaps 25% of Shade as a character. In other words, what that means is he could use her in a story once in a while if he chooses to do so as a character and not face any repercussions. Or he can use elements of her in any stories and not face any repercussions. And that's basically what he's trying to point out here, that he wants to use parts of the origin and backstory and elements of Shade and incorporate them into Julie Sue's. Now, what I get from that is he wants to, like, when it comes to elements, I think he wants to incorporate maybe the design, the Marauder design that Shade had before we eventually saw who she really looked like, in the Dark Brotherhood. So that's probably what he plans to utilize as part of the backstory for Julie Sue. Now, with that said though, a lot of people will still question how that is possible. And I kind of chalk it up to being similar, not identical, but similar to what GG7A, Game of Guys 7 Aces, is doing with Sonic Rebound. Like I said in the Rev recommendation, Sonic Rebound is a loose adaptation, not a full adaptation, but a loose adaptation of the IDW Sonic books right now. And that all GG7A is doing is he's using concepts, elements, characters, and some ideas and mixing them together into a loose adaptation of the books and the story with a few notable changes. And those notable changes being some of the antagonists who are behind the whole scenario. Like I said in the Rev recommendation, instead of Neo Metal Sonic being the one behind the organization of the Badniks terrorizing the world and all that, instead it's Dr. Robotnik from Sonic SatAM and Archie Sonic. And that's kind of a unique twist and change to the whole concept of who's behind the whole scenario. The Badniks getting organized and everything. And now it's leading into somewhat of a cross-dimensional inspired or cross-dimensional story for season 2, which potentially could see references, acknowledgments, and maybe appearances by the freedom fighters like Sally, Rotor, Bunny, Dulcie, Antoine, who knows, as well as maybe an appearance by SatAM, the SatAM version of Sonic the Hedgehog. Again, possibilities are endless for what's to come. But again, getting back on point here, that's kind of what this reminds me of, and that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. That Ken Penders basically is just going to be using elements and concepts of Shade's backstory and origin to incorporate into Julie Sue. In other words, he plans to maybe use the somewhat an inspired design, Marauder's design for Julie Sue to kind of help, tell her backstory and her origin of how she came to be, and just go from there. And like I said, it almost sounds like he can, without any repercussions, probably use Shade in a story once in a while if he chooses to do so and not, get in trouble for it. So yeah, Ken Penders plans to basically incorporate some elements and ideas and concepts of characters like Shade the Echidna from the Dark Brotherhood game into characters like Julie Sue to kind of help flesh the character out even more so than I think he's been able to do in the past. But again, like I said, there are people that feel that he doesn't have the right to do so because he doesn't fully own the character. But I think he like I said, he kind of worded it in a way to where technically he owns maybe about 25%, 30% of that character, to the point that he can use her in a story once in a while, as well as use concepts of the character to incorporate into other characters in the Lara-Su Chronicles. I know that sounds a little confusing when I say it and a little convoluting, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting in the long run. But let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on Ken Penders being able to do this? Do you think he's in the right to do so? And what are your thoughts of, him adding elements and all that of Shade into Julie Sue? Because again, the backstories and origins are very similar and identical to each other, if you know what I mean. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Be safe, guys. Take care. God bless. And I'm out.